I'm going to talk about, before I continue with this abduction of spaceship, that before about 1992, it's come a tornado over this house that we have just built. And the strange thing with it is that we don't have tornadoes in Sweden. And my neighbors was not affected of it, and it was only on our house the tornado dropped down, and it took away everything in our garden. And I had the windows open first when I felt that something was wrong. I didn't see the tornado coming because I was not used with it. We don't have it in Sweden. But I saw that the wind started to blow stronger and stronger. So I say to the girls, my daughter and her friend, to close the windows as fast we could. And I had all the windows open because it was summer, and in that time we didn't have air conditioner. So the only way to cool it down in the summer is to have the windows open. And I lived out in the country, so it was no people around. So the last window was very hard to close. I had to take all my strength to could. I thought I should never could close it because the wind was so strong, but I could. And then we ran down to the basement, where we had the door open. And it had coming in so much in the basement of leaves and mud and everything blowing in there. But we could close the door. And then when we come up in the house, then we saw, when I look out, because the wind was over, and when I look, I could see this funnel of the tornado going away from our direction. But no one, not the newspaper, no television, radio, nothing talk about the tornadoes. No one had known it was a tornado in that place in Sweden. But when I come out, everything was gone. I had flower pots that was made to stand still the year long, and it was the weight was about 40 pounds on them. So they were very heavy, and they were gone. And we had like a tent outside, and I never saw it again. It was gone. Everything was gone. No building was damaged. It was only in the garden that was loose from the ground that was away. So today I think it was that kind of measuring from these aliens. I think it was to see if our house could hold a spaceship, could park on our house with a spaceship. I believe that today. I had never thought about that before this year, because it's so strange, everything. But I start to make could put together things. The more I hear from spirit things, the more I hear from God, the more I can understand things today, more and more. I didn't told my man or my daughter that what had happened, because I had hard to believe that I had been abducted. So we were going to sleep, and we wake up very early in the morning of noises outside the window, outside, down on the street. And we live on the second floor of our house. And we were still sleepy, and we said to each other, can you go up and look out in the window what's going on outside? So it took a long time, and still it was this sound, I hope I can do it with this microphone so you understand the sound. Like something was flying in the air. And when my man and I look out in the window, we saw, like, for us, for our eyes, for our brain, was it like small Volvo cars in grey, metallic, all look the same, and was coming in a chain of cars. So it was lots of these cars. But I understand today that it was an illusion from the UFOs, from the aliens. If we had look outside, it should look like cars. But it was this spaceship, this round. And I know that they were going up in the forest, because that black triangle-formed spaceship was in the forest, and those gray, smaller, they was going up in the mothership. That was this triangle. It's a mothership. It's not those round spaceships. They are much smaller than those black triangle-formed spaceships. And so my daughter have coming up, and she looked out in the window also, wondering what was going on. She had been wake up of that sound also, and she was a deep sleeping girl, but she could hear it also. And then we took an early breakfast, but my man he couldn't let it go, and he said, I wonder who had this big party up in that village where we live. So he wanted to see, because he had lived in that village for 25 years and know everyone, and he know that no one was 50 years old and had big birthday. So he took the car and drive to where their spaceship was going up in the forest. And that place where they were going, it was a dead end road. So they had to come back. So so he must meet them on the road, because they have to come back. But he didn't see anything of them. He couldn't understand what was going on. He don't believe in aliens and UFO. He's a physical person, but he can't understand what was going on in that time.